Hello everybody, it's Mr. Lee David Carter and I'm back again for another podcast or blog, as you call it, and this is to do with how to know if you're transgender. I thought this is an important subject because of the gender spectrum. Okay, so it's important. It's an important subject, I think this is, so I wanted to give some kind of advice for trans people. Parents, families, friends. So I've not made a proper video really about this and, how to know you're trans as a gender. So I thought I would do this podcast, video blog. So to many out there that are questioning other than their sex that they were assigned at birth, and they feel like they are different to the sex that they were born with. So for example, if I'm a trans man, which means I was born as a female and feel like I am a man and identify as a man, the sex assigned at birth is female. However, you don't have to feel like you are the exact opposite gender to what you was assigned at birth. So even though I am, because there is a gender spectrum that is vast, should I say, and even though I am trans, there is also non-binary. For example, there's gender fluid, there's pansexual. So the gender binary system is so vast. So the words transgender is it's just an umbrella term basically. You can arrange anywhere from the range of female to male, or you can go in between, neutral into the centre, or it could be leaning on one side and it could be leaning on the other side regarding the gender spectrum. So there's many different ways to which people, should I say, identify, and I would like to look at, should I say, some of the ways that people identify themselves. I would love to tell someone, but I can't. It's basically down to the individual with regards to what gender they feel they're comfortable with, or even identity for that matter, because there's such a vast spectrum on the gender spectrum system. So really, to be honest with people, the different ways in which people identify, I would love to tell you every single way, but I haven't got time to do that. We'll do that in a later podcast or video. So, there's so many that are different identities. There's so many different people on the online forum, should I say, out there in the community, that are speaking about their own different, should I say, identifications, and people have spoken to others, they're networking, they're going onto YouTube, and within the community itself, which I found by speaking to people in research and so forth. For example, if you're not sure of your identity, which many are, I found that many are not sure of their identity, it's best to do some form of research speak to people, go on YouTube videos, check out YouTube, go on there as well. Also, I think it'd be very good to kind of like experiment as well. Try on different clothes, go and see what you feel comfortable with, whether it be you know, gender identity or you know, or your gender, should I say. Find out what it is you're comfortable with, what it is you identify with, what feels right to you, what feels comfortable, basically. So you can research this and look into it, because there's so many different types, and you know, roots of people that are out there, and you know, they're coming together basically, and that identify in a similar way, should I say. Which I think it's best to go out there and get involved in the community with people that might identify in a similar way, and see what they're saying and what they're doing. But you know, it wouldn't be wise to take advice from people as to telling you what gender you are, what identity you are. I think really this is down to you as the individual. It's what you're comfortable with, what you connect with, how you feel, what makes you feel right. Based on my own experiences as well. So yeah, I think basically, you know, I think speaking about their identities with people in these little groups, should I say, because it's hard for you know, any different identity for gender, being transgender, should I say, and we all understand that there's, you know, different gender roles, and under the umbrella, even in the trans community, and we can all, you know, discuss it, and still there's an understanding around it even. So though you can discuss, you still want to belong to a group basically, and sometimes, you know, or doing that, or just to basically identify with your personal self and who you are. So you don't have to need to choose between a particular identity, and if you want to be comfortable being trans, then be trans. If you want to be non-binary, then be non-binary. You don't have to give yourself an exact identity. Basically ask people, which, you know, and see what they say. Find out information from their experiences and what they're going through in particular groups that appeal to you, should I say. And you know, just do your research on the internet, go on YouTube, ask friends. You know, just the way I found out through somebody a long time ago. It was over a decade ago. I went through my transition, which is useful. You know, I used to dress like a boy, and more became more and more masculine. I was never really a little girl as a kid. I never wore a dress. I went to school in trousers. Weren't allowed to wear trousers to school in London, but still went to school in a pair of trousers. We were told to wear a skirt. You was a girl in them days. You was a girl. You wear a skirt. No, not me. I totally went against the rules and the system, because I felt that I was in the wrong body, the wrong gender, basically. And then it wasn't even heard about, even spoken of, but still I did it, because I just felt like a little boy trapped in a female body. So that's me, okay? So yeah, basically I would do that. So I think it's good to experiment with clothes, with regards to dressing yourself, they, him, her, pronouns, nouns. Identify with what feels right, what feels comfortable on the gender spectrum system, and not just gender, like identity as well. You know, you're not saying, you know, you're saying, well, I'm not male, or I'm not just female, I'm male and female. You know, just whatever identifies with you or feels comfortable with you on the gender spectrum, basically. You know, for years I did not even know that you could, you know, transition after meeting a girlfriend some years back, and she put me onto somebody that already gone through a transition, and thought, right, that's it, yes, that's it. I'm going to go through this after living a life of feeling, terrible, not right, in the wrong body. Personal relationships weren't right with people, relationships in general with women. And I was never a lesbian. I just felt like a guy in a woman's body that just loved women. And the women I got involved with were straight, because I wasn't a lesbian. I didn't have women near me like that. It wasn't like that. So that's the way I felt. And when you try and tell somebody this, they don't understand, they don't get it. Until you explain and elaborate on it, and more clearly, then they get it. They understand, okay, I can see what you mean. The fact that I had a body that was foreign to me, it didn't feel right. So how could I be with somebody if I'm not right in my own skin? In other words, I didn't want to be touched. Because I was in the wrong body. That's how I felt, consciously. Didn't connect. So, but this is me, this is my personal experience with what I've been through in my life. Okay, so yeah, it's coming back to the gender spectrum system. So yes, I'm a trans man, and I was assigned a particular birth sex. It did not match and didn't identify with what I felt consciously within myself. Felt like a male in a female body, and knew who I was and my identity. And there's plenty of transgender out there, non-binary, YouTube, you've got the platform, you've got, to find yourself and who you are, and, regarding gender and expression, gender expression, gender identity on the spectrum, are two different entities. I'm going to say that again, two different entities when it comes to the gender spectrum system. So yeah, so really, this is going to be very helpful for you, all those out there that are trying to search and find yourselves. This will be helpful. Also to experiment. I think it's really important to try and experiment with oneself. The way you dress, he, she, using they, he, she, all the pronouns, and it feels right. To shift into the right place until you kind of say, well, you know what, the expression or gender identity, that's who you are, basically. And that's what's sticking with me, and that's what feels right, and that's what feels comfortable for me. So it's all about trying. I think that's the main thing. It's all about trying it out. Experimentation. Gender role, identity, so basically do this. And for people that feel that are, in different ways, they feel dysphoria in different ways, I can tell you how to know your trends, whose spectrum on the gender system. So based on my experience, this I know. Anyone out there that's trans, I fully understand. I can give advice, but really it's always down to the individual. It's about how you feel, and that's what counts when you're finding your identity or your gender on the spectrum system. It's about you finding you and doing some of the important factors that I've just mentioned, like research, experimentation, trying on different clothes, people talking to you, he, she, pronoun, they, whatever, until you can find what's comfortable with you and what it is that feels right, basically, to knowing your identity or your gender. And the other thing, which I think is really important, is basically do not rush into it. Don't rush, okay? Take your time, be patient with yourself. You're trying to find yourself. So yeah, the main thing is it's all about trying it out. So try it out. Because from now, this is where you're going to find who you are. And be true to yourself. And you don't need anyone to tell you what you are. You will know who you are. You will find yourself. If you do the things that I suggested, this is going to really, really help you to find yourself and who you are. Because a lot of it helped me in my life, in my experiences, the people I've met, the research I did and everything. It helped me. So, you know, and I didn't get that support from my family at a young age. I didn't understand it. I was born in a different generation growing up. It wasn't heard of, wasn't spoken about. I didn't really have those kind of tools or guidance or support from my family to even think about it. But I knew I was different and I knew I was in the wrong body, but I just didn't get the support. So I spent many years suffering because of that. So if I can pay this forward now and help others and use what those experiences and what I know and knowledge, then please, you know, take it all in and hopefully I'll help you find yourself. So yeah, it's all about trying it out. So I'm going to say love and light, people. Namaste, love and blessings. Speak to you soon. I'll be sending out another podcast soon, another one soon. Bye for now. And platform is Lee David Carter. If you want to find out about me a bit more, just with everything. And yeah, please press the subscribe button. I'd love to have feedback and I'd love to respond back to people with any questions you want to ask, because I love to give feedback and help many. Okay, thank you. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.